Hey everybody, it's Pax. Welcome back to the long-lost campaign play-along for the Scarlet Keys with Tommy and Daisy. This is a revenge tour. Kaimani and Charlie didn't have what it takes, and Tommy and Daisy have been cakewalking through with an indiscriminate vengeance in mind. You might know the last scenario I played was some months ago. There's been like 5 updates to the mod. I'm on a fresh save state. I've got everything transferred over, and I've got a path planned out for the next scenario, which the path has a bit of XP in it, so before deck updates, let's get those entries out of the way. The first thing we're doing is we're traveling from Kuala Lumpur, where we just finished Shades and Suffering and took the parasol from Suzanne Yang and subjugated her. We'll be heading straight down to Perth as our first location for one time. And that'll put us into Paranatural Selection. File 55, Paranatural Selection. A cool breeze greets you as you arrive in Perth. The capital of Western Australia is nestled in the crook of the Swan River, and despite, or perhaps because of, the nearby gold rush, it has the rugged feeling of a frontier town. You catch a scent of something too sweet, possibly rotten, on the breeze. Now, we haven't met Dr. Irawan, and the time is not past that far, so we skip to Paranatural Selection 4. You catch Dr. Irawan walking out of a lecture at the local university and invite her to a nearby cafe to chat about her research. On a sunlit veranda, she lays several lifelike sketches out on a table between you. Have you ever heard of the red-tailed quokka, she says. You shake your head. They were first introduced to the West by Dutch explorers in the 17th century, and have been listed in standard taxonomy since then. I learned about them at Cambridge. Dr. Irawan leaps through a sketchbook to a blank page. On a survey 5 years ago, I took several sketches in the wild, but recently, I opened my books and the sketches were blank, as if they'd never been drawn. Moreover, every footnote and reference to them in academia has vanished. I asked my professor at Cambridge, the man who taught me what red-tailed quokkas are, and he looked at me as though I had gone mad. The zoologist adjusts her large spectacles. You assure Dr. Irawan that she is not mad and share what little you can about the disappearances. I do not know how much you have studied natural selection, but what we are experiencing feels very much like the introduction of a new apex predator into an ecosystem that has not evolved to withstand it, says the zoologist. Except this predator feeds not only on the body, but on the actual existence of its prey. Although, of course, that would be unthinkable, she laughs. I cannot help feeling that we are its prey. Thinking on the terms the Foundation used, you suggest she name the phenomena Paranatural Selection. She looks troubled at the suggestion, then smiles. Perhaps I will use that, with your permission, says Dr. Irawan. I'm glad we met. I was beginning to think this was all in my head. She gives you her business card with the name of a hotel in Brazil written on the back. I will be in Rio de Janeiro to continue my survey and my next lecture. Perhaps I'll see you there. In your campaign log, record the cell met Dr. Irawan, and each investigator earns 1 experience as they gain insight into the strange happenings around the world. And then we embark. Next on our route is from Perth to Sydney. File 49R, Ringing Hollow. Less than 20 time has passed, so we'll read Ringing Hollow 1. You arrive in Sydney and immediately search for the agent described in Taylor's dossier, finding her safe house in an old condemned warehouse by Botany Bay, on the eastern side of the city. She has an entire wall of filing cabinets containing years and years of research, and her table is covered in a mess of maps and photographs. The new cell, she regards you, flipping on a fluorescent light that coldly illuminates the room. The name is Quinn. The commissioner told me you might drop by. You ask her what kind of intel she might have to aid your investigation, which earns you a chuckle. What don't I have? Well, let me show you what I'm looking into right now. Check the campaign log. If the cell hid the truth from Taylor, skip the Ringing Hollow 3, which unfortunately we did. This is off book, but I've been looking into some pretty strange events. Take a look. She hands you a file from her table and leans back as you examine it. It's a host of information regarding missing buildings, sites, in some cases even entire villages, all of which vanished mysteriously and without explanation. You do your best not to let your familiarity with such events show on your face. Any of this mean anything to you? You don't like lying, but telling the truth now would reveal your earlier deception to Taylor. You shake your head, telling Quinn this is new to you. That checks out. See, that is what is so hinky about all this. You're holding the only surviving records of any of these places. It is as though all of them were completely eradicated from history. And if that is true, who's to say the same could not happen to us? She shudders. The thought of being forgotten like that, even by those closest to me, it's my worst fear. You tell Quinn that you feel similarly and that you wish you had more intel to give her. Her gaze, narrow with suspicion, sees right through you. I do not buy that for a second. Taylor might trust you, or maybe she just doesn't want to get her hands dirty, but I can tell when someone's lying to my face. A grim silence hangs in the air. Finally, she exhales. Fine, do as you will. but if you decide to spill, you can find me in Amesbury, due west of London, she says, packing some of her files and personal belongings in a small canvas duffel bag. You repeat her destination, curious as to why. Something there I want to look into, is all she gives you. You suppose it is only fair, considering your hesitance to give her the full story. She gives you no more than a cold glance as she leaves, and you wonder if perhaps you should have warned her. But what she doesn't know can't hurt her, right? In your campaign log, record Agent Quinn does not trust the cell, and in the North Atlantic section of the campaign log, find London. And at spot right 27H, you're now allowed to travel back to London whenever you embark. Back to the map, we travel across the South Pacific, wrap around to Buenos Aires, and land in Rio de Janeiro, which costs us 2 more time. The theory of annihilation. As your ship puts into the port at Rio de Janeiro, you see a massive hollow statue under construction on Corcovado Mountain, overlooking the city. The statue is vaguely humanoid, its arms spread wide in welcome. Or is it a warning? If the cell met Dr. Irwan and spent less than 25 time, proceed to Theory of Annihilation 2. After some searching, you find Dr. Irwan in the Belmont Copacabana seated at the table, covered in sketches and academic clutter. I'm actually glad you missed my lecture, she says. It was an utter disaster. I was laughed out of the auditorium when I tried to present. Someone called me a cryptozoologist. Dr. Irwan adjusts her large, round spectacles as she turns to a beautifully detailed sketch of a bird roosting in a palm tree. I presented what I am calling the theory of annihilation, a process by which an ecosystem is, itself, devoured via what you've dubbed paranatural selection. Not just the ecosystem, but the memory of itself, the fact of its very existence. Do not worry, I will credit you for that term. She takes a sip of strong, dark coffee. But after my recent survey of the Amazon, I'm afraid the process is accelerating. A dozen species of macaw have vanished, and my colleagues have no memory of them. The sketches have disappeared as well. Of those we documented, only the scarlet macaw remains. As Dr. Irwan flips idly through her sketchbook, her eyes catch on a particular page, and her face goes white. This cannot be. You ask her what the matter is, and she points to the page. Just yesterday, this page was not blank. The Phalanger septimus, a cuscus living in the western New Guinea. Dr. Irwan begins gathering up her things. I sketched this subject months ago. Perhaps there will be some trace of it, or of whatever force is behind all this, out in Manokwari. She pushes a strand of her hair behind her ear and smiles at you. Thank you for listening. Perhaps we'll meet again. In your campaign log, record Dr. Irwan traveled to New Guinea. Each investigator earns 1 experience as they gain insight into the strange happenings around the world. Under time past, write Delta underneath the current time. The symbol has no status report and is only used as a time marker, so that'll be on day 19. In the Southeast Asia section of the campaign log, find Manokwari in its spot, write 45p, and you're now able to travel to Manokwari whenever you may embark. So now that I've got plus 2 XP for my previous scenario, we're going to spend some experience. Okay, so Tommy has 9 experience. It was 7 from the previous scenario, plus 2 from those 2 little interludes. And what we're going to do with that experience is we're going to upgrade our 2 copies of Look What I Found. A little bit of extra clue gathering never hurts for this composition. Daisy is very good at getting clues, but she's a little slow at it. She's not really getting them at a rate of faster than 1 or 2 per action, so Tommy having some cards in his deck to help out with that, and also the flexibility of the connecting locations is going to feel really good. The other addition is 2 copies of At a Crossroads, ditching the Grievous Wound. I really want to like Grievous Wound, but the amount of card draw and like bonus action giving that you can do with At a Crossroads is just really strong. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9 is a copy of Charisma. Over on Daisy, we also have 9 experience, but we got 1 bonus experience from having our Raven Quill on an Old Book of Lore at the end of the round. We're not going to use the Raven Quill to upgrade an Old Book of Lore. We're going to use it to put 1 experience into Living Quill, which lets us use the actions without provoking attack of opportunities. The other thing we're upgrading is Endless Inkwell so that we can place this on Encyclopedia or Grim Memoir in addition to Old Book of Lore. And that'll just give us a lot of flexibility with where we're allowed to put this to free up slots. And also that Living Quill might make it so that I can like give myself an encyclopedia while I'm engaged with an enemy so that maybe I could do some punches or something like that. So that's 3 experience. Another 3 goes into another copy of Old Book of Lore. Again, it's not discounted from the Raven's Quill, but that's fine. Old Book of Lore is just like an insane amount of money and plays. And then we're replacing 2 copies of Burning the Midnight Oil with 2 copies of Seeking Answers. I've been finding consistently that we have like an insane amount of cash. This might be a big mistake because if I don't see Milan, maybe it doesn't happen. But I figure between Milan and the Old Book of Lore, we should be getting cards played and a lot of money again. And then once Milan hits play, having something like Seeking Answers to just turn a buck into 2 clues is going to be really important. And last but not least for today, we're going to travel from Rio de Janeiro to Buenos Aires, which marks 20 time in the calendar, sending us to whatever this symbol is supposed to be. I suppose that's Status Report Zeta. You return to your hotel after a long day of travel and investigation, only to find your room in shambles. A grim feeling sprouts in your gut. Someone has clearly turned your room upside down in search of something, and you're pretty sure you know what. You rush to the safe where you've been storing the paradimensional artifacts you aren't carrying on your person. To your horror, it is empty. Apart from a single red card, reaching out to Foundation contacts who believe you have tracked the culprit to one of 4 likely Coterie sanctums. Perhaps if you're quick, you can recover what was stolen from you. Check the keys section of the campaign log and find each of the keys whose bearer is an investigator. Choose 1 at random. 2 instead, if the investigators control 5 or more keys, that key has been stolen. So we have 3 keys. We're going to be losing either the Twisted Antiprism, the Shade Reaper, or the Eye of Ravens. We're going to, I guess it doesn't matter if we shuffle it face down or not. I'm just going to press R a whole bunch of times, and whenever I stop, whatever on top is what we lose. And I'm looking away. You have no idea that I'm looking away, and I am stopping. We lose the Shade Reaper right away. But that's okay. I don't think this one is like an essential one. It's good, but it's kind of finicky, right? You have to make them attack another enemy at that location. It's whatever. Not a big deal to have lost that one. Gather each of the enemies in the red coterie and counter set whose name matches those who you haven't seen the last of in your campaign log and choose 1 at random. That is the identity of the character who stole your keys. Now, I'm pretty sure that has to be the red-gloved man. I think that we pissed off H.A., but she's not an enemy that we've seen the last of, and we've gotten Su Sang Yen under our thumb. So it should just be the red-gloved man. Update the key section of your campaign log such that the bearer of the keys that were stolen is the randomly chosen enemies. And then in the Kabul, Quito, San Juan, and Reykjavik locations, we write 14C. We're not allowed to travel to those locations whenever we embark. We'll probably try to find this at some point. I don't know how that's going to happen, but we'll try to make it happen. Finally, we actually land in Buenos Aires. As soon as you arrive in Buenos Aires, you set your meeting with official Bolivar at a cafe overlooking the harbor. Seagulls cry out over the many shipping and fishing boats in the distance. Even after Bolivar arrives, you continue to keep an eye for others listening in, for anyone wearing red especially. The officer meets you in uniform instead of casual clothes. Whether by protocol or due to being overworked, you are unsure. His response to your letter seemed overly eager. Perhaps he is as starved for information regarding his target as you are. Your letter suggested we may be able to aid one another, he says casually after calling out for a Cafe Chico. You have information regarding La Chica Roja? Roja? I'm not sure. You clarify that you are the one seeking information from Bolivar, not the other way around. Well, scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, he says, his expression turning serious. What do you know? Now, I can choose to either tell him everything I know about the target, give him some breadcrumbs, or insist that he tells me what he knows. I think that I am going to tell him everything, because I think he can help me take her down and shoot her in the face. You decide that honesty is the best policy, especially after our honesty with Agent Quinn didn't go over 100%. You doubt he would believe your tale about extraterrestrials and secret organizations, but you can at least tell him what you know regarding La Chica Roja. He mulls over the information you give him, taking a minute to process everything. So you really believe that La Chica Roja has these abilities? You tell him you are certain. It may be tough to believe, but it's important that Bolivar understand the reality of the situation. I knew it, he grins. Of course, it makes so much sense. The way she would vanish into thin air, move with such speed. You hadn't expected him to believe you, but it turns out your information has only confirmed his own suspicions. So how do you intend to help us catch her? You tell Bolivar that you intend to capture her on your own. All you need from him is information regarding her objective and last known whereabouts in Buenos Aires. He pulls several photos of buildings in Buenos Aires out of his folder and reveals them to you. La Chica Roja has carved a path of thievery and mischief throughout Buenos Aires. Hundreds of thousands of pesos in stolen art and artifacts. He points to each of the photos, one by one. Casa Rosada, Palacio Erdu... Oh, no. No, I can't. No, no, that's not happening. Teatro Colon. She has been spotted many times, but try as we might, we cannot catch her in the act. Those in charge are, shall we say, unhappy with how the situation has been handled. He looks away and scratches at the back of his hand as he stammers. It's clear to you that Bolivar's career is on the line, but you know the stakes are much higher than even that. It is like she is toying with us, mocking us. He strikes the surface of the table in frustration, making a killing while making fools of us all. You tell official Bolivar that you will help him find the girl in the carmine coat, but only if he invades in your investigation. Of course, he says with a grin. If it means we can finally put that thief behind bars, I will do what I can. You shake the man's hand, and together a plan begins to brew. Remember that Matthias Bolivar trusts you. Remove an Elder Thing token from the cast bag and add a tablet token instead. That's going to bring us to one of each, and then we proceed to set up. As always, setup is largely finished for us in Tabletop Simulator, but I will just do a quick read of this because I've never done it before. Gather all cards in the following sets: Sanguine Shadows, Dark Veiling, Mysteries Abound, Shadow of a Doubt, Strange Happenings, Locked Doors, and Night Gaunts. Oh, Locked Doors and Night Gaunts, that sounds annoying. Build the Agenda deck using only Agenda 1 and the Act deck using only Acts 1 and 2. Put the Avenida de Mayo location into play. Each investigator begins play at Avenida de Mayo. Choose one of the 7 remaining locations at random and remove it from the game. Put the other 6 locations into play surrounding Avenida de Mayo as see the suggested location placement below. Okay. Place 1 resource on each location in play other than Avenida de Mayo as targets. There should be 6 targets in total. These targets represent the locations you suspect La Chica de Roya is looking to steal from. Gather each decoy mini and each of the following mini cards, La Chica Roya and a partitioned Ka, set them aside out of play. Find the double-sided La Chica Roya card, flip her to her enemy side, and resolve her concealed keyword, and then set a whole bunch of cards out of play. Shuffle the remaining encounter cards to build the encounter deck, and we're ready to begin. So, let's go remove that location. Now we've got our 7 locations out here, displayed around Avenida de Mayo, or Avenida de Mayo? Okay. And here's a location randomizer. So we'll just shuffle this and we'll take the top one away. Same deal as before. I'm looking away. You can't guarantee it. And we're going to be removing Teatro Colon from play. Goodbye. And goodbye. We've got our targets in play, but let's do our opening hands before we go any further. Okay, opening hand for Tommy. Let's see what we get. No hypochondria for us. A hunter's armor, a motivational speech, a beat cop, a perception, and an overpower. Now, our hunter's armor does have armor of thorns, so it is a pretty good card. That being said, I feel like I kind of need to get rid of this just so I have a weapon. I'm getting a little wary of just not having weapons, so let's do that and we'll draw 3 new cards. We didn't get a weapon. That's okay. We'll figure it. And then for Daisy, what'll she get? Well, she certainly won't get her Necronomicon. Dr. Milan, an encyclopedia, and an occult invocation, a deduction, and my Raven's Quill. I mean, this is basically just a good hand, right? Do I even care about anything else? This is great. This is fine. I think I just keep this. Thank you, Daisy. Okay, next we resolve her concealed keyword, which is concealed 5. So we have to take 5 decoys, shuffle them together with her, and place them. Now, it's been a while since I've played TSK, but I'm a little concerned that there's 6 locations. There's 6 guys and there's 7 locations. I think I have to put one here on the Avenida de Mayo, and then one of them remains not placed. But that seems wrong to me. I mean, I'm going to do it, but it seems wrong to me. And it should seem wrong because I'm pretty sure it is wrong. Hi, it's Editing Booth Pax here. You're going to witness a whole lot of rules errors in this scenario about placing the concealed cards, but that's okay, because after this is ended, I played through the scenario again and got an even better resolution, which you're seeing on the screen right now. Thanks very much. Enjoy the bad rules time. Okay, bye. So we'll shuffle that up a bit, and then we'll just drop them accordingly somewhat, with some measure of reason, but not a particularly good one, because I don't know what the backsides of any of these locations are, so I don't know how easy they are or are not going to be to reveal. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on. X is the number of targets on this card, which is currently 0. Fine. The cultist is a -5. If you fail by 2 or more, shuffle each of the concealed mini cards at your location and each connecting location face down and place them in random in the positions they were in. I mean, whatever. A tablet -1. Cancel the effects and icons of each card committed to the skill test. That sounds really nasty. That could be really, really gross. And then Elder Thing -2. If you fail, you must either place one Doom on the current agenda or the nearest Coterie enemy attacks you, even if it's in the shadows. Would have liked, I think, to have not put in that tablet, but that's fine. So, where is she? La Chica Roya is stealing pieces divided up from an old art collection which you believe are parts of an ancient key. Forced, at the start of the game or after the agenda deck resets, set the amount of Doom on this agenda to 1 per player. Okay. That's annoying. After you expose a decoy, La Chica Roya attacks you. When this agenda advances, La Chica Roya will collect one of the pieces she seeks. Okay. The Scarlet Shadow. Thanks to Officer Bolivar, you believe you know which buildings might hold the pieces La Chica Roya is after. All that is left is to catch her in the act. Expose the thief's whereabouts. If an investigator engages La Chica Roya, advance. And finally, she is a 3/2/5 with Concealed 5, Human Coterie Elite. Forced when an investigator engaged with La Chica Roya moves, disengage her from that investigator. Victory 1, 1 damage, 1 horror. Not too bad for this after you expose a decoy, she attacks you thing. That's actually... That seems a little reasonable. Maybe a bit tough for Daisy. Finally, I do unfortunately have to shuffle the Red Gloved Man into the encounter deck as part of whatever it's called, Epsilon there. Alright, let's get started. We start here at the Avenida de Mayo. If your difficulty is standard, X is 3, and Resign looks like La Chica Roya wins this game. There's a 2-clue location. I don't really know if I need the clues here, right? Doesn't seem necessary. I think we're going to go ahead with Daisy first, though. We are going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, Dr. Milan. We are going to investigate the location at 6 against 3, just to get the resource to play the encyclopedia. The encyclopedia is going to be pretty good. A +1, that's great. We get our resource, we get the clue. We'll go ahead and we'll play that encyclopedia, although I don't quite need it yet. I don't think I'm going to bother giving Tommy +2 to a skill of my choice. I don't see a need for that right now, necessarily. So we'll just hold off on that. Okay, Mr. Tommy, let's go ahead and motivational speech this beat cop out for 1 resource. I think we're going to go ahead and draw 1 card. That'll get us the Hunter's Armor. That's kind of nice, because that's going to put us in a position where it's pretty easy for us to take the hits from La Chica Roya from attempting to reveal her by Tommy. So we're going to just go ahead and do that. And if this gets defeated, it's not a big deal. It's going to be shuffling back into our deck and giving us the $4 back, right? So I think that's pretty good. I'll be able to Encyclopedia to get up to 7, take some punches against the concealed enemies. If it's decoys, I've got like 8 soak to shove it onto. Okay, we get our upkeep for Tommy, another live and learn. Yeah, okay. A weapon? And then for Daisy, the Necronomicon. Okay, fine, I guess. Like, whatever. Nice to get this out of the way early, I suppose. Increase the Doom clock by 1. And we'll start with our encounters. Let's shuffle that again. As always, Tommy's the lead. He's the lead. He's the police. It doesn't matter. Cat and Mouse, Peril, Surge. If there's a concealed minicard at your location, you may expose it. If an enemy's minicard would be exposed by this effect, instead, flip it back over and shuffle it face down with the concealed minicards at your location. Okay, so I can expose this, but if I expose a decoy, she's going to attack me. But we just talked about how that's fine. So yeah, we'll just go ahead. We'll get a free expose on this. It is a decoy, and that does get removed for now. We'll just shove that up by her. And La Chica Roya attacks me for 1 and 1. So, I mean, I don't know. That's fine, right? Peril, Surge, fine. Surges. Locked door. Location with the most clues. I don't think that's a big deal for this to be a locked location. That's fine. We're okay with this. That's not a big deal, like, at all. So good. Great. Daisy, what have you got, my dear? Figures in the dark. If there's no enemies in the shadows, it gains Surge. Otherwise, it attacks me, or each investigator loses an action. Now, we're just at the start of the game. I don't think I want Daisy to get attacked right now. I wish that I had Protective Runes upgraded on Tommy's Hunter Armor, but it's not a big deal. I think I'm just going to have... I think I'm going to have Daisy take the damage. I don't know, though, because... That's tricky, because the more damage I take now, the worse it is. The worse it is for me to expose decoys later. I need a way to look at the decoys before I expose them. I guess that's the big thing. We're gonna lose some actions. It's not a big deal. I think I'm fine with losing actions this round. That's again, that's not a big deal. I think that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to go ahead with Daisy first, I think. First things first, Daisy's going to definitely spend one of these secrets to give Tommy +2 combat. Then she's going to move. So the map, it's pretty wide open. We've got Casa Rosada, Catedral Metropolitana, Cementerio de la Recoleta, Palacio Errázuriz, I think that was the one I messed up in the intro, the Cabildo, and Banco de la Provincia. And I think we'll go to the Palacio with Daisy first. Now, this privately owned mansion contains many pieces of art that fit the profile of your mark's past robberies. Judging from the ornate architecture, its owners must be important high society types. You're unlikely to be allowed to patrol the area, so you'll have to resort to La Chica Roja's own methods if you plan on watching for her here. Oh, is that going to be giving me a hint as to what I need to find her? Let's take a look. 2 shroud, 2 clues, spend a clue, spend 4 combat, test 4 combat, sorry, not spend, to break into the mansion. You may spend 1 additional clue to reduce the difficulty of this test by 2. If you succeed, look at the revealed side of a concealed minicard at this location without exposing it. For every 2 points you succeed by, look at an additional minicard at this location. Okay, so there's going to be a whole bunch of minicards in this scenario, otherwise it wouldn't be letting me look at more than 1. That's dangerous. But I can just, gather a clue and then make this test pretty easy and not need Tommy to do it. I think I'm happy to do that. So last action, whoops, that's not the right thing. We'll just investigate the location with Daisy. Let's just put the deduction into it. Let's get the clues now. I assume that kind of ability that lets me spend clues to lower the difficulty, maybe that's on other locations. Let's get the easy clues while we can. 0, so we get 2 clues from that location. I forget all of the hotkeys. That is brutal. We also get a resource. And then next round, we're set up to be able to do this with Daisy. Now, Tommy. Tommy is also going to take 1 move action, and he's going to come to the same area. He's going to come to the Cementerio de Recoleta. Robbing the dead has long been a crime reserved for only the foulest of thieves, so naturally, Officer Bolivar believes Recoleta Cemetery is on the list of potential targets. Who knows what valuables may be locked with the dead in the cemetery's countless marble vaults and mausoleums. It's 2 shroud, 3 clues. Spend X clues and take X horror. Look at the revealed side of X concealed minicards at this location without exposing them. Yeah, I think these are all without exposing them. That's fine. But like I said, I've got my +2 from Daisy, so I'll be at 7. And 7 against 2 to just expose this is fine for the cultists. I wouldn't mind getting the card draw from the overpower, but I think because these -5 exists, I need to save that overpower for when the -5 is going to be blocking me out of a test. So we'll go ahead and we'll be 7 against 2 to expose, -0. And we've got another decoy. That's 2 more damage onto Tommy. And I think it's a little risky because if I draw rookie mistakes, that'll be really bad. But I'm going to put it onto my beat cop because I would like my upkeep to be a bit more likely to draw me a weapon. Rather than shuffle one of these in and be stuck without weapons. So that's what we'll do for now. The nice thing about the encyclopedia and a beat cop in play is that I can kind of get by without a weapon, but it's going to be really inefficient. So that's the round. We're going to do upkeep for Tommy. Look what I found, level 2. That'll be really good for picking up a lot of clues if spending clues is something we need to do. We'll get upkeep for Daisy. That gets her a mind over matter. That's really nice because it can help me get away with not needing to gather clues to just try one of those tests. That's cool. I like that. 4 out of 7 Doom. Man, that's a really tight timer. Counter card for Tommy is a Hunting Night Gaunt. That is just about the worst thing that I could have possibly seen here. But we'll make it work. And for Daisy, On Wings of Darkness. Test 4 if you fail, take 1 damage and 1 horror, then disengage each non-Night Gaunt enemy engaged with you and move to a central location. That also stinks pretty bad. But there's no point. I can't use that, so -1, sure. We take a damage and a horror, which I guess we'll do like that with. And then shove back to the central location. Okay, so that enemy spawning is kind of annoying, but I think it's more of a Daisy needs to go help Tommy punch that Night Gaunt out. So she's going to move back to Tommy. It's a little slow, but I think it's what we've got to do. She's going to spend 1 more encyclopedia resource to give him another +2 to combat this round. Then she's going to move down 1 location and spend 2 clues to take that test at 0. So yeah, Spending an additional clue. Oh, you can only spend one additional clue to reduce the difficulty of the test by 2. You can't spend multiple. Okay. So I can't spend 2 clues. I can lower it to 2. Now, is that something I actually want to spend my turn doing? I guess I could play the Mind Over Matter to try it 6 against 2. I don't see myself doing that now that I've reread that. Maybe instead I spend a bit of time drawing. Yeah, I think I spend a little bit of time drawing. We're going to use the Twisted Antiprism. Look at the top 3 cards of my deck, draw one of those cards, and shuffle the rest back into my deck. So we're going to look at the top 3, draw one of these. I think it's got to be the Empirical Hypothesis, and shuffle the other ones back in. And then flip this to its unstable side. I think I really needed to do that, because that's going to give me a lot of leeway on card draw. Also, my Empirical Hypothesis does have this dealt damage or horror trial and error thing I can choose that Tommy can technically trigger. And that could get a lot of evidence on this. Aside from that, I think I'm just going to do an investigate. More clues doesn't hurt at this point, so 6 against 2. Yeah, that's one more clue. Okay, now for Tommy, he's at 7 against 3. I mean, we're just going to run a whole bunch of 7 against 3s with these Live and Learns in hand and this Overpower, and we'll punch him out and then discard the Beat Cop. It sucks, but it is what it is. That is the -2, which is fine. That does a damage. I believe it's 4. Yeah, that's right. So that's 1 damage. We'll go again. That's the -0 for now. That does another damage. We'll punch him one more time, 7 against 3. The auto fail, we'll put the Live and Learn into that. And the Elder Sign. You may move up to 2 damage and horror from Tommy Muldoon to an asset you control, or vice versa. Oh, that's interesting. I'm almost tempted to take this damage off of the Hunter's Armor and shove it onto Tommy, just so that I have, if this comes up again, that I can use it. And again, this is protecting me a little bit from... excuse me. It's protecting me a little bit from rookie mistakes. I guess it would just shuffle in right now because I'm about to burn this Beat Cop. So that's going to bring him to 3. I'm going to move that on to Tommy, and then we're going to burn the Beat Cop to burn the Night Gaunt. So that's a little unfortunate. It's slow, but again, I kind of just don't want to juggle him for ages, so it's what we're doing. Okay, and that brings us to Upkeep for Tommy. He gets his rookie mistakes. Discard each asset you control with damage or horror. If no assets are discarded, shuffle this back into your deck. Okay. So, I mean, I would have just lost my Hunter's Armor. I wouldn't have had to redraw my rookie mistakes, but I would have lost that. And then over onto Daisy. She gets her Grim Memoir. Did I forget to shuffle? No, I did not forget to shuffle. That is not the other card that I saw. Okay. Now, back to normal. Ooh. Am I going to make this a succeed by 3, fail by 2, or a damage? You are dealt damage or horror. This moves the horror onto you, so I can't, like, voluntarily take that. This is at the start of the round, so I have to choose this now. I think I'm going to make this taking a damage or horror. I think that's a little bit more likely right now than the succeed by 3. So we're going to go with damage or horror. We're going to do trial and error for a bit. And again, I'm just going to like say that that's locked in until I say otherwise. From now on, if I don't say it at the start of the round, it's damage or horror. Also at the start of the round, we go to 5 out of 7 Doom. Wow, you really do not get a lot of time to do this. That is tricky. Tommy, the Red Gloved Man. Oh my god. Okay, he's got the Parasol. So, after you flip a key from its unstable to its stable side, the Red Gloved Man attacks you. Then, the Red Gloved Man shifts each of his attached keys. Okay, he is very annoying, and it is a huge bummer that I do not have a weapon. That sucks bad. I'm pretty sure that means that Daisy basically has to use this Occult Invocation this turn, which I would love to not use. Put it into play in your threat area. After you fail a skill test while at a location with a concealed mini-card, take 1 horror. Fine, whatever. So we're going to start with Daisy. She's going to use her tome action to give herself +2 intellect. She is going to use her Occult Invocation to attack the Red Gloved Man, and that is going to be 8 against 5. We're going to have to discard cards, and I don't want to discard the Grim Memoir, and I don't want to discard the Raven's Quill either. That'll give me a free hand slot. This encyclopedia is going to get used up. I've used it on Tommy twice, so I forgot to do No, this is going to get used up. We're going to get rid of the Mind Over Matter and the Raven's Quill. And we're just going to try and hit him. 10 against 5, 3 damage. He's toast. We got him. Be gone, shithead. Alright, very glad that we could get this man into the Hex Zone in relatively low effort. Now we're in a situation, though, where we've got no fucking money and nothing going on for us. We didn't take any damage or horror. We're probably not going to trigger the Empirical Hypothesis this round. I guess if I move down to be with Tommy, he can probably trigger it. But with my 2 actions remaining, I probably need to go to the other decoys with how little time we have. And I think that's basically what we've got to do. So we're going to say move 1, move 2. We're heading to the Cathedral Metropolitana. Overlooking the Plaza de Mayo looms the impressive facade of the Metropolitan Cathedral. In addition to the usual trappings of the church, Bolivar has informed you that it houses many magnificent pieces of art, as well as a mausoleum. It seems a likely target for La Chica Royale. Spend a clue test for agility to watch the rooftops of the cathedral. You may spend 1 additional clue to reduce the difficulty of this test by 2. If you succeed, look at the yada yada yada. 5 shroud, 1 clue. That one's going to be really tough for us to do anything with. We're going to have to go to the other ones. Now for Tommy, we do not have a very good odds of succeeding that test. He does not have any clues either. So what he's going to have to do is spend 2 resources. No, that's not correct. That is the incorrect order. He's going to have to investigate his location 3 against 2 and hope that he fails. Which he does, fortunately. So we can take 2 clues, not Doom, 2 clues with this Look What I Found. Then he's going to move down 1 location, back to Palacio Errázuriz. And then last action, he's going to be spending a clue and then spending another clue to reduce the difficulty. 2 clues to do a 4 against 2 test. We're going to use the Live and Learn when this fails in a moment. -3, correct. And we're going to use the Live and Learn. That -2 difficulty is part of the cost. And so I'm pretty sure that happens with the Live and Learn. We're going to commit the Overpower to it. We'll be at 8 against 2. -2. Cool. And that'll let us look at the revealed side of a concealed minicard at this location without exposing it. That is a decoy. We do not need to be here. I suppose I just used... Oh, I guess I need to draw a card as well. I used an awful lot of energy to do that and didn't end up finding anything and didn't end up damaging myself. So, like, there's a lot of reasons why that might have not been the greatest play, but whatever. Becky. Okay. We can use Becky. If we get Becky, Becky's nice. Becky's only 2 cost. That is really good. I was really worried spending down so much on that Look What I Found that I wouldn't be able to play a Runic Axe when I found one. Becky's really good. Plus, we can willingly take those hits with the Hunter's Armor, and we'll be in a really good position to reload her as the game goes on. For Daisy, she gets an upkeep, and she gets haunted. Oh, God. This is a nightmare. This isn't great. 6 of 7. We get an encounter card on Tommy. He gets another Hunting Night Gaunt. This is ass. And Daisy gets Calling Card attached to a location without a target and without a copy of Calling Card attached. While it's in play, clues cannot be spent at any location. Oh, fuck you. After you successfully investigate attached location by 2 or more, discard Calling Card. Look at the revealed side of a concealed minicard at any location without exposing it. That sucks. So I guess that's back at the Avenida de Mayo. But I can't investigate that. Ugh. Okay. So I think we're going to have to brute force some reveals this turn with Daisy, and she's just going to have to take some damage. But let's start with Tommy, because otherwise we're going to be up shit creek without a paddle. He's going to have to take an attack of opportunity to play Becky, and then he's just going to need to take 2 shots against this guy with Becky, which is not great. 3 up is not where I'd like to be. 6 against 3. It's not amazing, honestly. I could use the Eye of Ravens to make one of them more guaranteed to hit, but I think what I'll do is I'll take the first shot at 6 against 3. That's the -5. The -5 is if you fail by 2 or more, shuffle each concealed minicard at your location, and at each connecting location face down, place them at random in the positions they were in. Doesn't matter. But that does waste a bullet, which sucks pretty bad. We'll just take 1 more shot with Becky. 3 up again. -1. That is 2 damage. The Hunting Night Gaunt is going to hit us for 1 and 1, which is going to kill the Hunter's Armor, which will let us put some money on the Becky, yada yada yada. So we're not in bad shape. It's just, I don't know, it's not great. Daisy, on the other hand, I'm basically hating where she's at. This is not fun. So we're gonna have to spend a secret with the encyclopedia to get +2 intellect. And that puts us only 2 up to reveal this concealed card, which admittedly is an awful lot of the bag, right? Like, it's this much. It's quite a bit. It's 12. It's 12 out of what, 17? 18? 12 out of 18? So that's like a 2/3 chance of doing that. And if I fail, I deal myself a horror, which gives me a card draw on my empirical hypothesis. So maybe I just run that. I guess the real risk is that if it's not her, then I'm just eating damage and horror. And damage and horror on Daisy right now is kind of scary, but like I think it needs to be done. So we're gonna do the investigate 7 against 5. We've got Dr. Milan, that'll get us a resource. If we take the damage, or if we miss, I guess we get the empirical hypothesis. So let's try it. An auto fail. Fine. After you fail a skill test while at a location with a concealed minicard, take a horror. Oh, he's already got a horror. Fine. 1 horror goes on a Daisy. I get an evidence. I'm going to immediately spend that evidence to draw a card because I need cards, right? Okay, bizarre diagnosis. No, that's great. That's actually really good. That's really good. We're actually just going to run that test again. We're going to be 7 against 5. The -5. Fuck. So these two get, like, shuffled up. But, like, again, I don't know which is which, so it doesn't really matter right now. And I do take another horror from the Sanguine Shadows, which is annoying, but not, like, the absolute worst thing in the world. We'll just try it again. Okay, this is 0. Thank you. So I succeed, I gain a resource, and I expose him. The expose reveals to me that it is indeed La Chica Roya. Okay. Okay. We're getting there. We have exposed the thief's whereabouts, and if an investigator engages La Chica Roya, we advance. So we advance to this. If this is the first time this act has been advanced. Following all your leads, you manage to beat La Chica Roya to her target and lie in ambush. She arrives soon after and sets to work, but it's not long before she realizes something is wrong. She hums a jazzy improvisation and saunters around the room, scanning for something. Come on out, she says at last, a smirk on her lips. You reveal yourself and tell her to stop what she's doing. Or what, she grins. You gonna make me? La Chica Roya gains action parlay, test intellect or agility 6 to outsmart the thief. You may spend 1 clue to reduce this test difficulty by 1. If you fail, La Chica Roya attacks you. If she would be defeated, instead advance. If an investigator parlays with Chica Roya, advance. Okay, so she's engaged with Daisy, and that's kind of unfortunate, especially since that was her last action. So, enemy phase occurs. As I said before, the Hunter's Armor gets attacked for 1 and 1, which is going to get me 2 ammo on Becky and 2 resources, and then the Hunter's Armor is going to reshuffle into my deck. I think that's the right way to do it. From an enemy attack, you may exhaust it to deal 1 damage to that enemy after it's assigned. So I think I actually do get that free damage, which is kind of cool. I hadn't realized that. Would I have already had that damage from when I played Becky? I think I technically would have, but whatever. And then over on Daisy, she gets attacked for 1 and 1, and that's it. An upkeep for Tommy gets him a vicious blow, not necessary. An upkeep for Daisy gets her a seeking answers, not useful. And then we get to 7 Doom, which is annoying. Reveal each concealed minicard and play in each decoy aside out of play. Find the location with a target on it nearest to La Chica Roya's minicard. She collects the target. Otherwise, okay. Find the location with the target on it nearest to La Chica Roya's minicard. But we've already exposed her minicard, right? Was I supposed to do anything? No, right? If there are 3 targets on her, proceed to R3. She collects the target. Otherwise, resolve La Chica Roya's concealed keyword, distributing each of those concealed minicards as evenly as possible amongst each location with a target. Reset the Act and Agenda decks to Agenda 1 and Act 1. Add clues to each location until it has clues equal to its clue value. So she's going to pop back into the shadows. I'm going to have to re-resolve this, and this goes back to where it was. Okay. That's fine, I think. I'm pretty sure that's actually okay. Like, I didn't really understand what the scenario was doing, and now I get it. So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe? We'll just do that again, I guess. Clues can't be spent right now, and we have to add clues. So we've already got 1 there. We need 1 more here, 3 more here, and 2 more here. And then we get encounter cards, which is going to be Outsmarted. Test 4. If you fail, you must decide. Place a Doom. This can cause the agenda to advance, or the nearest Coterie enemy attacks you. And I think she counts as the nearest in the shadows, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I do the test, right? Another thing. Okay, cool. But +2, so I don't even fail. And then an encounter card for Daisy. She gets a Bound Night Gaunt. Hunter, while attacking Bound Night Gaunt doubles the negative modifier of each revealed Chaos token. Okay, so we're gonna need to go with Tommy first. If we shoot with Becky, we're only 3 up, but again, we kind of have to. I could commit a single icon with the Martyr's Vambrace or the Vicious Blow, but that seems kind of bad. -1. Okay, so he's dealt with, we'll call it. So I think that I actually just have a lot more time than I thought I did. I didn't realize quite what the mechanic was, so I think it's okay for me to let her get one of the targets. It just gets the skulls a bit worse for me to, like, stabilize my play board. So I'm going to go ahead and say 1-2 for a Martyr's Vambrace, and then we're going to shove 1 up into the center. And hopefully that'll get us in a position where, like, next round we're pretty stabilized. Unfortunately, that does mean that Daisy's kind of going to be standing around throwing dumb punches at this guy, but it's all she can really do. But that's fine. It's the situation I let myself get in, so whatever. Basically, only 0s hit him, right? And that's actually a pretty big bummer because I basically just am never hitting with that, and also the Elder Thing token is going to add a bunch of doom to the agenda. So I think that, very unfortunately, Daisy has to just eat her turn, which sucks. That's so annoying. Okay. Anyways, enemy phase, she gets hit for 2, which is going to trigger the empirical hypothesis to get an evidence onto it. That's nice. Oh, cool. I like that evidence token. That's great. We get an upkeep for Tommy, which is going to get stand together, which is fine. That's fine. And an upkeep for Daisy, which gets her a perception. That's pretty good, actually. The end of the round is going to happen. I think I'm going to change this back to succeed by 3, because I think I can get away with it. 3 out of 7 doom. Counter card for Tommy is a pinch in reality. You must either spend a clue or choose and discard half the non-weakness cards in your hand. Round it up. Choose and discard half the non-weakness cards in your hand? Okay. And an encounter card for Daisy is the Coterie Envoy. Aloof Patrol. Nearest location with a concealed minicard and no envoy. While he's ready, concealed minicards at its location cannot be exposed. After you defeat him, look at the revealed side of any concealed minicard in play. Okay. So we can't reveal the minicards at this location, and he is aloof. I guess notably, concealed minicards at the location can't be exposed, but you can look at them, right? So we can still use the ability here if we can get to a reasonable location with it. Okay, again, a stabilization turn. We move up with Tommy. He comes to help Daisy. I really don't want to kill her, so we're going to engage the Bound Night Gaunt, and then we're going to spend our ammo to shoot 6 against 1. We're going to be 7 against 1 with this Vicious Blow. A -4 is a -8. Fuck off! Oh my god, I'm getting no relief in this scenario. This is so fucking bad. Ouch! Man, that sucks. Again, we are stabilizing. So, let us get rid of Haunted for Daisy, because I think that that's going to continue to be a problem. And let's just play the Bizarre Diagnosis to heal 3 health and place a clue on the location. It's not what I want to do, but I'm pretty sure that it makes it so she doesn't just die before the scenario ends. He attacks Tommy for 1 horror, 2 horror. That's going to get another evidence on the empirical hypothesis. We're going to do upkeep. Inspector Flint. Thank you! This is who I needed to see. And an upkeep for the research librarian. Okay, that's also good. It's not amazing, but it does mean that I can let Dr. Christopher Milan die after I've gotten an extra buck out of him. I think that puts us in an okay spot. Also, I can use the encyclopedia and play over it for the Grim Memoir and start really rocketing my hand up. 4 out of 7 Doom, an encounter card for Tommy. It's a locked door, the location with the most clues and without a locked door attached. Now that's going to be this one over here, the Cementerio de la Recoleta, because it's got 3, everywhere else has got 2. And then Daisy gets an On Wings of Darkness. If you fail, take a damage and a horror and disengage from each non-Night Gaunt enemy engaged with you and move to a central location. I think we're going to let her take that and kill off Milan. I think that might be necessary. She's going to take another horror from Seeing Shadows. That is so nasty, man. Oh, she's going to be in a real tough spot real soon. No, we're gonna send that over to Tommy, I think. So Tommy's gonna take the On Wings of Darkness with the Martyr's Vambrace. I'm considered to have drawn that encounter card. I'm getting +1. I'm only 3 against 4, but at least he can take the 1/1. Okay, it's the cultists. Okay, it's the cultists. 1/1. This guy disengages, goes back to Daisy. So we're shoved back to the central location. These guys all get shuffled up, but again, I haven't... Whoops, I should have done that. I haven't seen any of them, so I don't know anything about any of them. So whatever. Okay, for Tommy, we're going to say 2 for Inspector Flint. He's going to be really nice for us. We're going to move back into the location, and then we're just going to engage him. Again, we're moving like dreadfully slowly, but I really... Ooh, you know what? Here's the thing, though. I should use up some evidence from Daisy first. And the reason is, if I draw... No, I don't have enough for it. I don't have enough for my Runic Axe. If I had one more resource, if I drew a Runic Axe, I'd be able to play it and use it for the Inscription of the Hunt, and that would have been really cool. But I'm not there. As much as I hate this, I think that Daisy really needs to get rid of the Seeing Shadows. We do have all of our stats back. I need to get rid of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to say get rid of the Seeing Shadows. Use the Encyclopedia on ourselves for 2 intellect. And then we're going to play the Seeking Answers and commit a perception to it. That'll put us at 10. Encyclopedia plus perception is +5. The Seeking Answers lets us grab clues from all around us wherever we want to. And I think I had said that the empirical hypothesis was the succeed by 3 now. That's -0. So we get our card. We get our buck from Dr. Milan. We get our card draw from perception. We get an evidence from the empirical hypothesis. And we get 2 clues from this location or connecting locations. Now, this is going to be easier consistently to get them from. We can't get them from there without breaking down the locked door. But I think that that's just easier than ever getting them from the Cathedral Metropolitana again. I could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. So, those went to Tommy. So that brings Daisy up to 5 clues. And it was clear, Encyclopedia herself, play the Seeking Answers. Enemy phase, Inspector Flint's just going to take the 1/1, or the 2 horror, I should say, not 1/1. And then we're going to do upkeep. That's going to get us Gret. That's nice. That's really nice. And then upkeep over here is going to get us another perception. That's also quite good. We're going to go up to 5 out of 7 Doom. We're going to get an encounter card for Tommy. Test 3. For each point you fail by, you must either take a horror or place one of your clues on your location. Okay. Well, that sucks. We're going to use the... Well, no, we just get +1. So we're going to be 4 against 3. I mean, yeah, 4 against 3 is what it's got to be, right? If we just got to take a bunch of horror and shove Inspector Flint away for some ammo on Becky, it is what it is. That's a -1. So we actually succeed at that. That's pretty good. Punching this guy a bunch of times kind of sucks, but also... -1s are successful, so whatever. And then over on Daisy, in plain sight, attached to an enemy in the shadows without a copy of this. After you expose the attached enemy, it attacks you, gains +2 fight until the end of the round. Okay, fine. Okay, we're back to stabilization mode. That was a relatively tame encounter phase. What I would very much like to do is kill this fucking Night Gaunt. It's never going to happen, apparently, but we're going to try and kill the Night Gaunt, and then Daisy is going to... try to start getting rid of the calling card. I guess you got to investigate the location, but you can't get it without the locked door. Oh man, that's so slow. I have so much I need Tommy to do, and he just hasn't gotten the things out of his deck to do it. And so in the interest of him getting the things out of his deck to do it, we're just going to burn a bunch of this evidence. We're just burning it for him. He's going to draw 3 cards. We're going for it. So he's going to draw 1 card, which is going to be an At a Crossroads. Okay, that gives him either an action or he can lose an action to draw 3 cards. I think losing an action's pretty fucking bad right now. But I could give that to Daisy. Daisy doesn't have a lot to do. I was literally just saying this. Yeah, we're going to have Daisy lose an action to draw 3 cards. That seems fine. Wards of Protection? That kind of sucks. We're not doing great on horror, but... I mean, it's better than eating a bunch of treacheries, probably. I bet 1 horror twice, getting myself up to 7 or killing Milan and needing to replay over him, is probably a lot tamer than that. So I've only used 1 evidence here. I shouldn't get it twisted. But we are going to use at least 1 more. So that's going to be another one. The hypochondria. Fuck. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, no, it's gonna be the last evidence. Okay, a perception. That's fucking totally worthless. That was the fucking turn of my nightmares, dude. That sucked. I think once again Daisy is forced to occult invocation to handle the enemy, which she's gonna do. I'm just not gonna be happy about it. So 1-2 occult invocation. If I spend 2, that'll get me to 8 against 1. A -5 is a -10. So I kind of need to get to the 10 against 1. I kind of need to get to the 11 against 1 so I don't kill Tommy. Fine. -2. I didn't need to do all that. It does succeed by 3, so I get an evidence back on the empirical hypothesis. And that kills the bound Night Gaunt. You know what? I guess I also did commit the perception, so fine. Okay, the tote bag. All right. That's fine. We'll go 1, 2, 3. Play over the encyclopedia with the Grim Memoir. And then we'll investigate the location 8 against 5, I guess? A -2, so we succeed, we get a card, a resource, we don't get a card, we get a clue. Wait, there's no clues on my location. I'm being an nincompoop. We're not doing that. We simply end the turn, which sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. Okay, once again, we are taking a card draw from evidence. Thank you, motivational speech. We are going to discard this hypochondria because I do not want to deal with that. And then we are going to say hello to Mrs. Gret Wagner, who will put me back up to 5 combat. Okay. I need to take some damage or horror. Okay. There. Tommy's turn done. We don't have any enemies engaged with us anymore. We upkeep, we get a vicious blow. That's actually pretty good to have, I think. We get an upkeep on Daisy. That gets her an encyclopedia. Not the greatest, but I mean, fine. We are at 6 out of 7. That sucks. I said I wanted to stabilize. I guess this is what stabilizing looks like. The Seeing Shadows. It's a huge waste of time. But at least taking horror is something I can do, right? I can take horror on Tommy. It gets me ammo on Becky. That's fine. We take the Seeing Shadows. Daisy, what have you got? Figures in the Dark. Either everyone loses an action or she attacks me. I think she attacks me and that kills Milan. I think that's where we're at right now. Have I seen my other Milan? Let's take a look. Have we seen the other Milan? We haven't seen other Milan. I think he can take 1 and 1. I think that's okay. That's fine. We got the Grim Memoir for bonus to intellect. Each enemy in the shadows attacks me. That's gone. He's dead. We have -1 intellect. I've just been thinking about something like this guy's patrol nearest location. I'm pretty sure if there's a concealed minicard at his location, he just doesn't move, right? I think that's correct. I don't know for sure, but I think that's correct. I don't think he follows me around. But we need to deal with this now. We're at a position where we can unlock the door, get rid of the calling card, and start and be ready to start exposing stuff after La Chica Roya fucks shit up in a moment, because she's about to fuck shit up, I guess. So, we're going to go back to Tommy. Tommy's going to move into the center. And while he's in the center, he has this 4 difficulty lockpick test. We have a lot of successes. We have a couple marginal failures and some really annoying failures. But these don't actually do anything because I haven't exposed anything. So I can just brute force this, I think. So we're just gonna try to brute force it, like I said. Maybe I try... No, I'm going to save the Raven's Eye for when I really need it. I'm 5 against 4. It's gone. It's gone. Get the fuck out of here. All right, last action. I'm just going to draw 1 more card. Okay, a Runic Axe. Oh, thank God. Finally. Okay. The problem is, Becky's pretty good when I've got this many health worth of guys in play. I just got to get them killed off to put the ammo on her. But the Runic Axe, right away, is Inscription of the Hunt. And it's Inscription of Glory that lets me heal him. And I can do multiples of them. And, I mean, it charges a little slow. But I've got another Runic Axe in this remaining 15 cards. Daisy, she doesn't flip her card. She moves to the center. Now, this is a 3-shroud location. This has got the calling card. After you successfully investigate attached location by 2 or more, discard the calling card. So I've got to hit this location up with a 5 skill value after modifiers. And I think we can get there. We're going to try the Grim Memoir, and we're going to get the Perception committed from Tommy, and that's going to put us at 9 against 3. And again, hopefully that'll get him a bit through his deck. The Rookie Mistakes would suck pretty bad right now, but he just needs to see more cards, man. So we're at 9 against 3 with the Grim Memoir. The 0. The 0. The 0. We draw a card on Daisy. We get the Milan. Okay. Stabilizing. I'm telling you, this is stabilizing. Get a card draw on Tommy, another beat comp. I mean, you know, an extra +1. Hey, that doesn't hurt. And then calling card gets discarded, right? After you successfully investigate the attached location by 2 or more, discard calling card. Look at the revealed side of a concealed mini card at any location without exposing it. So that goes. We're gonna just look at this one. It's her. That's annoying. So that puts me in a really stupid position where technically Daisy could like move over and try to reveal that, but then she'd be taking a hit, and then yeah, we wouldn't get the target, but like targets going to -1 is not the worst thing in the world, I don't think. So I think we're okay to just leave that be and we'll try it again in a minute, right? Like that's fine. It's fine. We're still in stabilization mode. Oh, and I also got an evidence on my empirical hypothesis, because again, we're going for the succeed by 3s now. That's what we're at. I'm locking that in. We've got stat values. Should I have gotten a clue too? Can't forget to get the clue. I think I want to like take a resource so I can play Milan next turn, and then just Grim Memoir again to be at 7 against 3. -2, that does draw us a card, and then we get the last clue off the location. Okay, upkeep for Tommy. He gets his Hunter's Armor back. Can't afford it, but maybe if some of these things start dying, we can. I suppose getting Gret to die would be pretty cool. Upkeep for Daisy gets her a Guts, so we're pretty encounter card resilient now, especially against that fail by Willpower 1, which I really like being resilient to. Top of the round, we're still on Succeed by 3. And what do we have? So what does this do? Reveal each concealed mini card and set each decoy aside. She collects the target, and then if there are 3 targets on her, proceed to R3. So there's not 3 targets on her. The targets go on this card. Find the location with the target on it, nearest to La Chica Roya. She collects that target. So that one came off Banco de la Provincia. And that's fine. I think that's okay. If there are 3 targets on La Chica Roya, proceed to R3. No. Otherwise, resolve her concealed keyword, distributing them as evenly as possible among each of the locations of the target, and reset the act and agenda stacks. Okay, that's fine. Add clues to each location until it has clues equal to its clue value. So we do have to reshuffle them. We don't know where she is. And presumably I guess she doesn't necessarily have to go on locations with targets, is the point. So, fine. This goes back to 2, and we'll shuffle everything up. They start from here this time, so we'll go like this, and we'll say boom, 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 boom. I mean, I guess we'll put it there and make him patrol once. That's fine. And then an encounter card for Tommy gets him outsmarted. Test 4 if you fail, you misdecide. So he's going to be taking a horror from this, and she's going to be attacking him. So I can probably get some decent leverage out of this. This is actually fine. I almost wouldn't mind failing this. This is okay. So -3. Failing it. After I fail a skill test, take a horror. Horror goes on to Gret. I get attacked for 1 and 1. That goes on to, I think Inspector Flint's too useful. The 1 and 1. I would really like to cancel the exposing the decoy. It makes it so she doesn't attack us, right? And I can just turn that successful, faux expose into a card draw. I think we're going to get rid of the Martyr's Embrace. It saves us an engage action if Daisy draws an enemy, but we need to play over Becky anyways. Okay, we're gonna get rid of Inspector Flint. He's gonna shuffle into the deck. I'm gonna gain 2 resources, and then Becky is gonna get 2 ammo. Let's do it that way. That seems like the safest way to do it. Okay, and then Daisy grabs a calling card. Okay, without a target and without a copy of calling card attached. While it's in play, clues cannot be spent at any location. So that heads up to the Catedral Metropolitana, and that is a fucking nightmare to be rid of. Because... Oh, without a target. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Whew. Oh, I thought it said without a decoy for a second. Okay, alright, it goes right back onto us, and we're good. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, so I think we go with Daisy first. We get her Dr. Christopher Milan out. She goes up to 6. She investigates once with the Grim Memoir, 8 against 3, just to try and get rid of this encounter card. That is an auto failure. We try it again. That is an auto failure. And I try not to cry too badly as I do a 6 against 3. And that is a success, but unfortunately not enough to get rid of the card. However, since there are no clues at the location, rather than successfully investigating, I guess I'll be revealing the concealed card, and she'll take a damage and a horror. Now for Tommy, I think that I'm happy to play my beat cop, move one location over to the Cementerio de Recoleta, and just try to expose that 6 against 2. And I think the reason I'm happy to try that is because I'll have a ton of soak for if she pops into play. 6 against 2 is pretty good. -1, that is successful. What do we got? A decoy. We take 1 and 1. And that 1 and 1, we're going to go and say 1 on Gret, 1 on the Vambrace, and 1 on Beat Cop. I'm super nervous about rookie mistakes. It's going to wipe my whole goddamn board. No, you know what? I think we go that, and we do 1 more ammo and 2 resources, and this gets shuffled back into the deck. Because we're not at the same location as Daisy anymore. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so he's going to patrol to the nearest location with a concealed mini card. So he's going to shove over to the Casa Rosada. That's fine. We're going to get our upkeep on Tommy for a machete. That's okay. It's nice to have a backup weapon. And an upkeep for Daisy gets her second empirical hypothesis. That's really just an icon. But, I mean, icons are fine. 3 out of 7 Doom. The counter card for Tommy is an Undercover. If there are no enemies in the shadows, against search. Otherwise, test 4 of either of those. If you fail, place a decoy at the location with the most concealed mini cards. Flip it face down and shuffle the concealed mini cards at that location. So we're definitely going to be failing this, and that's, I think, not a big deal. -3. And I think that we're just going to go ahead and shuffle this one here. Because we can do this test. Oh, wait, no, but Tommy can't really do it. It's fine. He can get attacked. He can get attacked by the Chikoroya if it's failure. That's no problem. I'm not too concerned about that. And then for Daisy, she gets Knives in the Dark. Put it in your threat area. After you expose a decoy, take 2 damage. At the end of your turn, test 3. If you succeed, discard Knives in the Dark. So she really needs to get rid of that. That's nasty. It sucks because it puts her in a position where she can't expose the decoys. But she's kind of already in that position. I kind of really need Tommy to do it. But I have a long way to go, I think. I'm struggling. It's tough, man. It's tough. I think I gotta cancel it. As much as that hurts me, I think I really gotta get rid of that. Okay, so Tommy's gonna move down 1 location. He's gonna go ahead and try to expose one. That is 6 against 2. A 0. So we're gonna expose one of them. Let's expose this one. That's a decoy, so we're gonna take a damage. Not just a damage and a horror, I suppose. So damage and horror, fine. I think we're going to go ahead and try it again. 6 against 2. And if it hits again, we just kill off the Beat Cop. We can play over with a Hunter's Armor. We'll have more available to us. I think that's fine. Yeah, so 6 against 2, -1. And that's another decoy. So again, the Beat Cop eats it. He shuffles into the deck. How much are we going to take? That was 4. That was all 4. But how much are we going to take as money? I think we're going to take 1, 2, 3 and place 1 ammo on Becky. I really want to make sure I have ammo on Becky. Because I've been so starved for ammo and ways to deal damage this scenario that I'd really rather have that. Okay, so Daisy could, again, I still got to get rid of this, but Daisy could move to this side of the board and start unlocking and seeing what you do to get these. Presumably, there's a willpower and intellect version of each of these that she'd be really good at doing. But we currently can't spend clues, so we're just going to have to do a bunch of 6 against 3s to try and get this off of here. Okay, that's the succeed by 2. Perfect. We get $1, and that's gone. I think we're going to shove over 1 location. I'm a little nervous to split up from Tommy too far because, like, she's already in a pretty rough position, but I feel like I have to. So we're going to move down to this one. It's the Cabildo. Look at the revealed side of a concealed mini card at this location, then draw the top card of the encounter deck. You may spend 2 clues to cancel that card's effect and discard it. Interesting. I think we're just going to go ahead and pop that right now. So we're going to look at the revealed side. It's a decoy, so we're not exposing it. We didn't expose it, but then we draw the top card and we can cancel it for 2 clues. Draw that top card. Yeah, that's fine. We'll, whoops, no, not all 7. We'll spend 2 clues to cancel that. Unlike Ward of Protection, that does say cancel that card's effects, which includes Surge. It doesn't say Revelation effects, so we don't have to deal with the Surge. We're just going to use our last action to shove up to Banco de la Provincia. While you know La Chica Roja isn't after money, Officer Bolifar insists that the largest bank in the city is a prime target. Spend X clues and thrice as many resources. Look at the revealed side of X concealed minicards at this location without exposing them. Ugh, that sucks. Okay, upkeep for Tommy gets him the rookie mistakes. Goodbye, Gret. Goodbye, rookie mistakes. A little annoying, but, woo, physics simulator. Thank you. A little annoying, but not like the absolute worst thing in the world, I guess. And upkeep for Daisy gets her a deduction. Okay, deduction's fine for getting clues. 4 out of 7 Doom. Encounter card for Tommy gets him another undercover. Okay. Test 4. So, I mean, it's going to be intellect, just in the off chance that I pass it, but I don't. Decoy at the location with the most concealed minicards, flip it face down, and shuffle each concealed minicard at that location. And then for Daisy, we get Knives in the Dark, and that's just going in her encounter area, so she cannot do that any longer. She can't expose the decoys herself. But I think that's okay. I think that's fine that she can't do that. Daisy's turn is going to be pretty chill. I think she's just going to get some more clues to do more revealing revelation stuff later in the scenario. We've got a long ways to go by the feeling of it. And she can't expose them herself right now. That's way too dangerous. So we're gonna play the Daisy's tote bag. That's going to give us 2 more hand slots. We're going to investigate the location with Dr. Milan, 3 up, -1. That gives us 1 resource and 1 clue from the location. And then we're going to play the encyclopedia in one of our extra hand slots. And hopefully that'll get us through some annoying stuff later, maybe? Okay, Tommy is going to move 2 locations to catch up with Daisy. We're going to hope that one of them is here. Or that she's here, I should say. And last action, he's going to just spend 4 for his hunter armor. And maybe that'll get us in a good position. We'll see. Okay, upkeep. We get a perception. That's pretty good, I think, to have. I feel like I've committed more than 1 perception. Did I get a perception in my opening hand that I shoveled away? That must be what the 3rd one was. And then Daisy gets the Ancestral Mirror. Don't need that now, but hey, you know what? 3 resources, that could go a long way. Okay, so we're at 5 out of 7 Doom. For Tommy, we've got another Coterie Envoy. Okay, I'm gonna have to kill him this turn. That's annoying. At least I've got the Vicious Blow. Also, Daisy should have tested this a -2. It failed. A pinch in reality. You must either spend a clue or choose and discard half the non-weakness cards in your hand. Okay, we're going to be just spending 1 clue. That's fine. There's an abundance of clues in this scenario. That's not a huge concern of mine. So like I said, he's going to have to engage him first action. We're going to have to shoot him with Becky with a Vicious Blow committed. That'll put us at 7 against 2. And I'm happy with 7 against 2. That's good. That's good. -5. Perfect. Okay. But he is toast. Goodbye. Goodbye. Last action, I think we just dirtle around. God, that sucks. I wish I had that B-Cop and that Gret. Oh, God. All right, we're going to shoot the location. 6 against 3. Let's go 7 against 3 to get the -4 out of there. Yeah, 0. Okay. I only get to expose 1 of these. We're going to go for this one. Oh, yes. Yes! Okay. Good. We advance. Again, we beat her there. Okay. Once again, you beat your rival to the punch, and she spots you immediately. You again, she says dismissively. Don't you have anything better to do? I'm quite busy, as you can see. So she gains Parlay, tests intellect or agility to outsmart her. You can spend clues to reduce the test by 2. If you fail, she attacks you. And if she would be defeated instead, advance. And if you parlay with her, advance. Now, after I expose her, she attacks me and gains +2 fight until the end of the round. But she attacks me onto my hunter's armor, and my hunter's armor deals a damage to her. And then this gets discarded. Now, Daisy, I don't think can really meaningfully help with this right now. She has used both of her occult invocations. I do not believe she has anything else to help. I guess did she have 2 Mind Over Matters used, or just 1? There's still a Mind Over Matter in the deck. Ooh, okay. Let's get rid of the evidence to draw a card. I clicked D, which moved my camera. That is not draw. A Seeking Answers. Okay. I think because she's going to reset in a moment, I'm going to use the encyclopedia on myself to get +2 intellect. we're going to play the Seeking Answers, and we're going to commit the deduction to it. So we'll be 9 against 3, and we'll get to gather 3 clues from among our locations. That is definitely successful. And I'm going to say that we do like 1 here, and then we get an additional 1 here. I think that's how that works. We also get a resource from Dr. Milan. Okay, that's a lot of clues. I guess I could parlay her, right? Like, technically I could try the parlay. I don't want to parlay her. I want to kill her. But I could try the parlay. And I can even commit the empirical hypothesis. No, I'm here to kill her. I don't give a shit. We're going to draw a card. And we're going to take a resource. And we're going to deal with her next round. Okay. She attacks me once again. For 1 and 1. I'm just going to, again, I'm going to defeat the Hunter's Armor. It's a shame that I don't get the free damage out of it, but that's going to shuffle away. It's going to give me 2 ammo and 2 resources. That's fine. We'll do an upkeep. A glory. After you defeat an enemy, we're going to use the Eye of Ravens on this and make sure this hits. 8 against 3. Yep. Daisy forgot to do her end of turn test on that. That does something nasty if there were things in play, but there aren't. And then she gets an upkeep for Mind Over Matter. So if I need her to throw that punch, I can. We go up to 6 of 7 Doom, and if we have one of those Doom adders, we basically have to not accept the Doom. Tommy. You get a bound Night Gaunt. That's fine. We're going to be killing her in a moment. Daisy. You get a Heavy Rain. For each point you fail by, you either take a horror or place one of your clues on your location. Okay. I mean, we just put the guts into that and we go 5 against 3 and say that's good enough. Yeah, okay. So we succeed. We got an unexpected courage. Oh, that was kind of choice, because that's something we can toss into Tommy now, right? Okay. So Daisy's turn goes like, give him +2, play the Astral Mirror. Maybe we give ourselves a Mind Over Matter so we can try and test this Knives in the Dark out. Take a resource. Play this fast. Test that 3 up. It's gone. Okay, fine. Sure. And we get an evidence on that. And we'll spend that evidence to give Tommy a draw. And our Tommy draw will be a B cop. That's fine. So he's got +2 combat right now. And then we shoot her once with Becky. Wow, she really does not have much health. Why does she only have 2 health? Anyways, we're 8 against 3. That is an incredible success. What's the timing on the agenda? If she would be defeated, instead advance. Find the location with the target on it nearest to La Chica Roya. Place that target on the scenario reference card. Then if there are 3 targets on the scenario reference card, skip the rest of this act and instead proceed to the interlude. Otherwise, continue reading the following. Fine, you can have this one, the mysterious thief calls to you as she makes her escape. There's more where that came from anyway. Before you can catch her with a twirl of her stark red coat, she vanishes into the shadows without a trace. Heal all damage from her, return to the shadows, and resolve her concealed keyword, distributing the clues as evenly as possible. Reset the act and agenda. Each investigator loses each of their clues. Add clues to each. Oh, I haven't been losing all my clues, have I? Oops. My bad. Until its clues equal to the clue value. Fine. So I've been messing that up. That's on me. We'll start doing that correctly from here on out. And here's us resolving her concealed keyword. I think, unfortunately, we have to do like this. We'll do that, I guess. Spend clues and take horror to the test. Yeah, I don't know. Neither of those are particularly good. And I think I don't get to play Glory because I didn't defeat her. Come on, man. Ugh. Okay, we'll shoot this guy with Becky twice, right? -1, that's 2 damage. That's not damage, that's damage. And then we'll shoot him again. 0. Yeah, he's dead. Okay, good. Okay, and then I get to play Glory. Yes. And then I get to play Glory. Yes. Okay. I definitely succeeded one of those by 3. Did I succeed by 3 on Daisy's turn? I don't remember doing it. I'm just going to put an evidence on there. We get an upkeep on Tommy. The Martyr's Vambrace is back. We get an upkeep on Daisy. Are these the fucking bottom 2 cards? Oh, I have been screaming and crying and puking and vomiting to
What?
get these.
Bro, what are you talking
Oh
about,
my
man?
god. Having these earlier would have been such a different scenario. 3 out of 7 Doom. The encounter card for Tommy is in plain sight. Okay, that just goes back to her again. Which, by the way, marks the encounter deck reshuffling. We've got another Knives in the Dark. She's not exposing. I think that's okay. It's not a big deal if she doesn't expose. Tommy is my exposer dude. So, fine. Whatever. I think I'm going to have Daisy go first to try and see if I can't get some old book value out. So, she also has a bonus. Whoops. Hover a clue or card. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're copying this and then we're pasting it, is what we're trying to do. I keep forgetting that I've rebound a couple of things, so Control Z is no longer a thing for me. Let's see. Do we have any neat tokens that we can make this? Play item action? Yeah, we'll use play item action. 2 for my old book of lore. We'll use the action with the old book of lore. I guess I don't necessarily spend that. That's going to head over to Tommy. We're going to look at the top 3 cards of his deck and play one of them at -2 cost. That's going to be Gret. 1, 2, 3. Super. These go back into the deck. The old Crossroads, I don't need it right now. And that is going to get rid of a secret, obviously. Okay, so I can't expose, guys. But I can... Oh, place clues back on the locations. I fucking completely forgot to do that. So we've got like 2 there, 2 there? Yeah, 2 there. 2 there, 1 there. Yeah, okay. We're back to the correct amount of clues, so she can just start getting clues again. That's good. I'd be really happy to do that because this one's really easy if I've got clues. So we'll just take 2 investigates here, 6 against 3, 6 against 3. Yeah, we'll just do 6 against 3. That's successful. That gets us an evidence. We're gonna start saving the evidence to reduce costs now. -3 cost is gonna be huge for Tommy. And investigate again, 6 against 3. One of those gave me a resource for Dr. Milan. And then we'll shove down a location, spend the 2 clues we got, draw an encounter card, and cancel it for the 2 clues. Oh, and I guess the important part is the looking of this. So it's a decoy, so we don't need to be here any longer. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, Tommy, my boy. I should have gone first because you have to stand together. Fuck. We'll get the Martyr's Embrace in play. We'll attack the location with an Overpower. Yeah, that'll put us at 7 against 3. Yeah. Okay, -1. And so we're exposing this one. It is La Chica Roya. All right. She immediately attacks me for 1 and 1, which I'm going to put on the Vambrace. And then I'm going to shoot her in the fucking mouth with Becky. Oh, that was so lucky. All right, that puts me at 7 against 3. You hate to see it, but we're going to discard the beat cop to get up to 8 against 3 to dodge that -5. A -2, that doesn't do anything. She gets shot in the face. We get the nearest target. Oh, she had +2 fight. I mean, we still passed, but not by as much as I was hoping to. But anyways, okay, yeah, so she would be defeated. We go to advance. Man, I'm really liking this scenario. Oh, I forgot to do this, but that's fine. She would be defeated. We flip. The location with a target on it nearest to La Chica Roya. So I suppose that'll be this one to go on the encounter scenario card. Okay, so we heal all damage from her, return her to the shadows, resolve her concealed, distributing each of those concealed mini cards as evenly as possible amongst each location with the target. Oh, I just fucked that up on my last time, didn't I? Okay, I'll do it correctly this time. Again, I messed that up. We lose all of our clues. We reset. So this goes to 2. These flip, and let's do that correctly this time. So it's not... I shouldn't have had them on both of these. One of the targets should have been here. So we gotta get all of the concealed cards, right? Group them up. That's 6. So they have to be on the target location. So it's there, 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 and then there, and there, I guess? Is that right? Let's not do there. Let's do there. Yeah, okay. Fine. And then, yeah, the clues. So 8 and 8. And then there's one there. That's correct. We're good. The hunter phase, patrol phase, he's going to move over to here, which is annoying, but not the worst thing in the world. Okay, we get an upkeep for Tommy. That gets him Inspector Flint. I would have liked that to stay in there so I could get it with Daisy. Ah! And then Daisy gets herself an Old Book of Lore. And the nice thing is she can use 2 of these now, which is really funny. I'm going to play over the Grim Memoir and use 2 Old Book of Lores per turn on Tommy just to get him some fucking cards in play. 3 out of 7 Doom, I guess, not 2. An encounter card for Tommy is the Calling Card, a location without a target and without the copy of Calling Card attached. I'm just going to put that on Daisy's location so that she can get rid of it. And then Daisy gets a Pinch in Reality. Discard half of the non-weakness cards in your hand, rounded up. We're going to get rid of Empirical Hypothesis. We're going to get rid of Guts. And we're going to get rid of... the second old book would be really nice, but the Research Librarian is soak if she gets in a tough spot. I think we're doing okay, though. I'm going to get rid of the Research Librarian. I think I forgot to test the Knives in the Dark last round. The Elder thing would have done something. It would have placed a Doom on the agenda, so we'd actually be at 4 out of 7, or she would have taken an attack. And I guess that technically would have informed... having that extra Doom on there or taking an attack would have informed whether I discarded the Research Librarian, but we're playing catch-up on effects that I'm missing, so that's fine. We are going to go first with Daisy. We're going to use the Encyclopedia to give her +2 intellect, so she's going to be 8 against 4 investigating her location. So that's going to be 1 investigate, an auto fail, fine. It's going to be a second investigate, a -2. That gathers a clue, that's not a clue, and gets rid of the calling card. And then last action, I think she's going to investigate one more time, 8 against 4. We're going to try and get that. That's the -1 where you cancel all the skills and everything? Yeah, the effects and icons, but that's okay. We didn't have any. So we'll get that last clue, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll spend both of the clues to look at that, take a peek at this. It's not revealing it, it's just peeking, right? Then draw the top card of the encounter deck. You may spend 2 clues to cancel it, to cancel the card's effects and discard it. So we're going to draw that. It's the Outsmarted. I could actually just run that because I'm at like 8 anyways. So I guess I'll keep my clues and run that. -1, and that gets us an evidence on the Empirical Hypothesis. That's great. We do have one more action because of Astral Mirror. We will play over the Grim Memoir with another Oboe, but I don't think we're going to need it. And then we have to test the Knives in the Dark. I could commit the Unexpected Courage. Okay. We'll take another 1 and 1, and that'll kill off Dr. Milan to shuffle him back into our deck. Tommy's obviously moving down 1. Now, he unfortunately does not have the stuff to kill her this very round. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Stand Together for 2 and 2 after moving, and then play the Runic Axe for next round. We get an upkeep for Tommy. That gets him a Look What I Found. Upkeep for Daisy. Shuffles her deck and deals her a horror. She's in really rough, dire straits here. I might draw her a bunch of cards. Oh no, I've already done. I can't do that until a skill test initiates. 5 out of 7 Doom. An encounter card for Tommy is the Undercover. Okay. If there's no enemies in the shadows, it gains Surge. Otherwise, test 4. I'm testing 4 because of my intellect. I'm going to commit a perception and the Look What I Found to be 4 up on this Undercover intellect test. The -1. Okay. That gets an evidence onto Daisy's Empirical Hypothesis. And then Daisy is going to draw a Hunting Night Gaunt. That's icky, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I think she's going to draw a bunch of cards, but maybe we just go with Tommy first? That's tough. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to handle that. Whew. I think I need to know whether or not the scenario ends. So I'm going to try and kill La Chica Roja. And if the scenario doesn't end right there after killing her, we're going to Inscription of the Hunt to engage the Hunting Night Gaunt and deal him a bonus damage. Yeah, okay. I think we're in good. We're in a good spot. We are 5. We'll be 6 against 4. Let's just spend a charge. Script Weaver lets me imbue 2 different inscriptions. I can get +2 combat. That'll send me 5, 6, 7, 8. And then Inscription of the Hunt, immediately move to a connecting location or engage an enemy at your location. Okay, so I can just engage him anyways. I don't even need to engage the enemy I'm attacking. I deleted my runic axe. Okay, I fixed it. I'm still getting in the habit of using the hotkeys to remove the tokens and stuff. So the point being is I can engage him, and he doesn't even need to be the guy that I'm doing the attack against. I'm doing the attack against the concealed mini card. I am 8 against 4? No, I'm 8 against 4. That's fine, though. We'll just commit the Unexpected Courage from Daisy just to make sure we're up high enough to clear that -5. -1. Reveals Chica. Advances the act. Puts in evidence on empirical hypothesis. And then we're super interested in smiting her. So we'll spend another runic axe charge. We'll be swinging at 6 against 3. Well, let's boost that up to the 8 against 3, and we'll just get the +1 damage, and that'll be fine. So swing for my turn. 8 against 3, -2. She would get defeated, but then we advance. And this time, when we place our last target on there, we read the scenario interlude, Cast a Light. La Chica Roja paces around you in a slow circle as you claim her prize. You're good, she concedes with a playful smirk, but you're working for the wrong people. You know that, right? You tell her to stand down and turn herself over for questioning. She steps into the shadows, obscuring her face, but you can tell from her tone that she hasn't stopped smiling. Check the targets in play in the campaign log. If there are no targets on La Chica Roja, proceed to Cast a Light 2, otherwise skip to R1. Okay, so I didn't stop her completely, but we proceed to R1. You rush to apprehend your quarry, but with a twirl of shadows, she has vanished. It is as if she was a trick of the light all along, the same kind of mischief mirrored in Official Bolivar's reports. Thankfully, you now possess enough of what she was after to put it together yourself. It takes some time and research, but eventually you're able to slot the various pieces of what you originally assumed to be art together. To your surprise, the result is an ornate figure of a woman in robes. Tears, carved as thin lines like bloody scars, trail down the figure's cheeks. With your new prize in tow, you report back to Official Bolivar the next day. He is more than a little miffed that his enemy escaped his grasp, but relieved that her campaign of thievery is finally at an end. I warned you she would get away, he said between sips of his espresso. As far as my superiors are concerned, the book is closed on this one. Won't look good on my record, but as long as she's fled the city, like you say, I'm content with that. You thank him again for his help and prepare to leave Buenos Aires behind. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. Each investigator earns 1 bonus experience for each target that was on the scenario reference card when the scenario ended. Big fat 0 + 3. In your campaign log, record that you haven't seen the last of La Chica Roja. Choose an investigator to be the bearer of the Weeping Lady and update the campaign log accordingly. Mark 1 time in your campaign log, and you may embark. Now, the Weeping Lady says discover 1 clue at your location or connecting location. Flip this key to its unstable side. Each investigator must discard an asset they control if able. Then, if an investigator shifted this key, flip it to its stable side. Okay, that's pretty cool. Having a clue on Tommy is actually really handy sometimes. And I think I'm just going to give that to Tommy straight up. It's also not that hard for him to discard an asset. It's a little trickier for Daisy, but sometimes she has empty books. So this is actually not too bad. Discarding an asset on Tommy is a little more painful, but this could easily be 2 clues, which I think is good for him. Getting clues from adjacent locations, getting clues testlessly, it can be really handy. All right, but we're not done yet. We're going to keep going, even though I've been recording for like 4 hours or something at this point. We moved from Buenos Aires to Quito, which does cost us 1 time, moving us up to 22, and that does move us to ruses and reclamation. Determine if this is the site of your missing keys by performing the following steps. Gather an enemy's concealed minicard, and it doesn't matter which. I'm just using La Chica Roja because we just finished that scenario. And 3 decoys. If wrong leads is recorded in your campaign log, it is not. Gather 1 fewer. If there are 3 tally marks next to wrong leads, you skip the process. You flip the gathered concealed cards face down, shuffle them, reveal 1 at random. And if it's a decoy, you don't find them. And if it isn't a decoy, you find them. It's a decoy. Ruses and Reclamation 1. You search every known Coterie sanctum and safe house in this region, looking high and low for the villain who stole your precious cargo, but find nothing. Either they're not here, or they're so well hidden that searching any more thoroughly would be a waste of time. Resigned, you move. You plan your next move. In your campaign log, record wrong leads, and Lex Tibis, record a tally mark. So we record one in our campaign log, and we may embark again. And for our final location movement or something, whatever you want to call it, of the day, we're going to move back over to Manakwari, costing us one more time. File 45P, Metamorphosis. It is early evening as your boat pulls into port in Manakwari. Towering mountains covered in rich greenery roll down to meet the brilliant blue water. As night falls, coruscating lights dance beneath the surface of the water. Are there bioluminescent plants or something else? Check how much time has passed since Delta. It's only been a few days. It has not been 10 times. At first, you're concerned that nobody recognizes Dr. Irawan's name, but after some persistent questioning, a reluctant local offers to lead you to her. Heading into the dense underbrush, you follow a steep path up a nearby mountain until you reach a dark hollow. Leaning against the trunk of an ironwood tree, you find the zoologist peering intently into the shadows. I didn't expect you to follow me here, Dr. Irawan whispers. Following her lead, you sit down next to her and peer into the dark. The air around you is thick and moist. My theory was incorrect, or at least partially incorrect. From your vantage point, you can see into a shallow dell cut by a cascading waterfall. The moon shimmers on the ripples of a narrow stream. Dr. Irawan continues. All trace of this particular couscous is gone. That much is for certain. The locals have no memory of them. But something is different about the disappearance. Something lingers. A low, moaning wail from somewhere in the trees startles you. Dr. Irawan holds out a pair of binoculars and points at a cluster of ironwood trees on the far side of the glade. Peering through, you spy 3 cat-sized marsupials with yellow eyes clinging to a branch, curled tails swinging in the dark. They're feeding on something. Just looking at them makes your head spin. Something about them is both there and not there at once, forcing your eyes to constantly adjust. The animals' movements are stiff and double-jointed as well, both too fast and too slow. You look away. You see them? Asks Dr. Irawan. You nod and look again. The couscous are messily devouring a green python. It's fascinating, a fundamental change. The prey have become predators. The few I have observed have made a complete shift in behavior, turning on other couscous, hunting their own natural predators, of which the green python is one. Their very nature seems to have changed. Dr. Irawan stammers excitedly. But more importantly, they aren't gone. I mean, they are gone to some. Nobody remembers them. But yet, they persist. You turn your binoculars back to the couscous to find them frozen, staring straight at you with their bright topaz eyes. Surprised, you drop the binoculars. When you look again, the couscous are gone. Suddenly, on edge, you tell Dr. Irawan it would be best to leave. But she shakes her head. I'm on the verge of the greatest discovery of the century, an entire field of parazoological research. I cannot leave now. Leaving Dr. Irawan to her own devices, you head back into town. The jungle around you is eerily silent, and even as you break into a moonlit clearing, you cannot help the feeling of being watched. Over the next few days, you make contact with the zoologist in passing. The day your ship is scheduled to leave Manakwari, Dr. Irawan is suspiciously absent from the guest house. The staff tell you she didn't return the night before. Concerned for her safety, you return to the hollow where you met her before. The jungle remains the same unsettling quietude as you hike up the mountain. Scattered on a rock overhanging the dark hollow are several torn-up sketchbooks and a broken pair of binoculars, but no trace of Dr. Irawan. Scanning the murky copse, you see a glimmer of light in the zoologist's batik vest at the base of the waterfall. You carefully pick your way down the muddy slopes to the bank of a narrow stream where the zoologist lays prone, her arm bent at an odd angle. A trio of yellow-eyed couscous scatter as you approach. Turning her over gently, you are relieved to find her still breathing. A strange black implement is clutched in her left hand, close to her chest. A mordant call resounds from above. Dr. Irawan is surprisingly light as you scoop her up in your arms. Dozens of yellow eyes stare down at you from the ironwood trees as you carry the zoologist downstream, away from the hollow. Flitting, shimmering forms dart to and fro overhead like silent warnings. As soon as you get back to town, you check the unconscious zoologist into a clinic. The ship you had booked has already left, but with the strange circumstances you found her in, you resolve to stay with Dr. Irawan until she wakes up. Several days pass, filled with disquieting silence, until she finally speaks. I noticed several couscous gathered around this. She thumbs the hollow bell in her good hand. I know better than to interfere, but they seemed so fixated on it. Much like magpies or crows will hoard certain objects. So strange. I noticed they stowed it in the crook of a branch, and I climbed up for a better look, and, well, that's when I fell, she says. You hold the strange chime in your hands, appreciating its heft and form. The inlay designs are like nothing you or the zoologist have ever seen. The metal is cool to the touch, yet strangely electric. On a whim, you hold the bell up and swing it once, even though it doesn't have a clapper. A palpable wave of sonic energy ripples through the air around you. From the trees, you can hear a familiar morning cry. This has become more than a simple survey, Dr. Irawan whispers. Whatever those creatures have become, they are no longer Phalangia Septimus. Something changed. The zoologist pauses and considers her words for a moment, then smiles at you. Whatever is happening, I would prefer not to work alone. Perhaps I could continue my research with you. You tell Dr. Irawan you wouldn't have it any other way and agree to stay with her as she recovers. The zoologist entrusts the strange bell to you. In your campaign log, record Dr. Irawan joined the cell. Any one investigator may choose to add the Dr. Dewey Irawan story asset to their deck. It does not count towards their deck size. Choose an investigator to be the bearer of the Ruinous Chime and update the campaign log accordingly. Both of these cards can be found in the Globetrotting Encounter set, indicated by the Encounter set icon. Mark one time in your campaign log, you may embark. Status Report Gamma. The reports continue. Now it's not just missing people, but people returning, having changed. Buildings and objects too, replicated but different, off, like they'd been completely dismantled and then reassembled. But why? Add a cultist token to the Chaos Bag. Each investigator must add one copy of the Paradimensional Understanding weakness to their deck. Okay, so we each get the Paradimensional Understanding. It's a madness, it's a paradox. You must either choose one, immediately shift an unstable key you control, or flip each stable key you control to its unstable side. So we're going to have to be a little more aggressive with intentionally shifting our keys so that we don't have to flip all of them over to unstable. But we also need to use one that is has a reasonable unstable side to be able to shift it again while it's flipped over. So that's a really nasty little weakness. But last campaign, that didn't happen because I didn't have any fucking keys. Now, I already determined that Tommy was getting the Weeping Lady. Let's look at the Ruinous Chime. Automatically evade all enemies at your location, flip it to its unstable side. Each investigator takes a direct horror, then if an investigator shifted this key, flip it to its stable side. That's going to be going to Daisy, 100%. She really needs that. That's really good. Dr. Dewey Irawan, 2 cost, 2/3, big, probably definitely going to Tommy, but we'll take a look. You get +1 willpower, fine. Exhaust Dr. Dewey Irawan. Either reveal a card from your hand to shuffle each copy of that card that is set aside as a hollow to its owner's deck, or discard a card from your hand to shuffle any set-aside hollow into its owner's deck. In either case, gain 1 resource for each card shuffled this way. Wow. That is a kick-ass ability. That's definitely going to Tommy. That is... So, I found the hollowing to be extremely frustrating when I was playing Kaimani and Charlie. Now, that had a lot to do with the fact that I already wasn't getting good cards from my deck, and we were dying stupidly, and so every time I lost the card that I needed, it was really nasty. But the idea of getting them back, for these decks in particular, they have a lot of pieces that they want to see all of. I think that's going to be really good. And a free ability to gain resources? Sign me up. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. This has probably been a really long one, but it was really fun. That was a really kick-ass scenario. I really enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.